am going to accommodate that by just taking a moment to say hello and sort of begin with an explanation of what it is that I'm doing. Why do I do this before every single astrological reading? Well, because I'm talking to everyone in the entire universe. What an interesting concept for me, someone, to try and speak about the entire universe. It's a large concept. It's a large task, and when I immediately share that, there's this sense of needing to preface that the practice of astrology, though very interesting and very enjoyable to me, is storytelling. I like storytelling. Astrology, storytelling is very interesting. It's very fun. And it's talking about the transpersonal experience of what it means to be human. So when you look at the star chart and you practice this art, for me there's no concern whether or not it's scientifically proven or not, because there is no evidence that astrology is factual. That's not a thing. Astrology is, in my view, an art form about uniting us in the sort of shared reality that we experience that truthfully is super complicated. So again, I'm just telling a story. I hope it's entertaining to you, and I hope it's interesting. I would love to work with you personally, as always. Over here, on this side of the screen right here, we've got the position of the actual sun, right? We can see it here zipping around. I have it set to start on January 6th. This is the approximate positions of the planets in this, in this computer simulator. So that is what the story is going to be based on, of course, in part because the actual positions of the planet, either at your birth or at the time of this full moon, which is when this chart was pulled. Let me press play, just so you can kind of see. We're going to zoom out so we can start to get the rest of the planets. We can see literally the days flying, and these are the planets just in their movements. So this technology actually exists, and this is the specific moment in time where the planets will be. Of course, the different perspectives of these systems, these tools, doesn't have to correlate to some sort of story. I think that there needs to be a separation from the scientific tools that are real, that inspire the storyteller and the artist. Yeah, I think that that's very important, because if, let's say that I really could, predict events based on planetary movements and things like that, I would be using it if I actually knew what was coming next, I think I would change my behavior. It doesn't seem like that's how life works. There isn't this sense of being able to accurately predict things. That said, since I study people and stories and archetypes, there is this sense that people do perform in predictable ways, and that's why we study history and all of these various other things, to try and figure out what's going to happen. That's why marketing and sales and political campaigns and everything, it's all about understanding the human experience and behavior. So that's what's happening. That's the warning. And some of you are probably already jumping off, because why would you care? Why would I just am so tired of people saying and misleading people, and I don't like that. I don't want that to be what I'm doing here. I don't want that to be. I hope that this story that I'm about to share is interesting to you. I do love working with clients. I think I've already said that, so I'm going to get going into the story now that you are adequately warned about what you're saying. I don't like how it's kind of hard to see. I'm going to see if I can make this bigger. It's kind of, yeah, it's not the easiest to see, unfortunately. With better technology, I think I could show you more. I mean, I can try to move it closer. I have a friend that said he's willing to help me, you know, set up a better system. I bet there's a way I can change the chart to like look darker. Maybe that'll help. Custom graphics. Customize your graphics, eh? Background gray. I don't know. I don't want to do this right now because I'm trying to get in on the story as quickly as possible. So, here we are looking at this birth chart. I don't know if you can see it, apologies, but the moon is full. We know that because the sun here is in Capricorn, and it is exactly opposite. You see this nice thick red line here? I don't know if you do. The moon in Cancer, so that's a full moon. So since the sun is in Capricorn, that's where I like to begin, because according to, of course, what we know about science, the sun is very much the center of, I don't know, let me try to do it at an angle. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. So since the sun is the center of life, according to, you know, what science is saying, you know, it's got 99 plus or whatever percentage of the mass of the universe, that all that, I guess, helium and whatever it is happening, hydrogen, helium, making this super massive fiery thing. So when we try to tell a story about what that is, it's a fucking big deal, but it's not something that's like you can get up close to and like touch and walk on. Like, it's not it's a part of life that's just like very massive, very powerful, very dominant. It's like you fucking exist. Like, it's happening. Like, there's a big energy. And whenever the sun is in Capricorn, that means that we're talking about, of course, the mountain goat or the sea goat, this creature that climbs things, that is, you know, scaling. And how does it translate? It's an earth element, and it's cardinal, so it's like the beginning of winter. So it's like, ooh, shit, like, what do you do at the beginning of winter? Well, you gotta prepare to, you've got to get ready for a hard period, a tough period. It requires endurance, and there's a momentum. Since it's cardinal, it's initiating, and since it's earth, it's initiating in a steady way. It's not like Aries, which is like passion, like a spark. It's more, I'm gonna fucking do this, and I'm gonna stick to it because of the earthness. Now, it's not the fixed earth. Fixed earth is almost like a habit, but this is like, I'm gonna achieve this, like I'm working towards this. But there is this sort of like gumption, the greatest of all time, like Benjamin Franklin, like that kind of sun in Capricorn energy. I'm listening to his autobiography now, and it's really interesting. But so that sun is you can see in Capricorn, and it's so powerful that it's obliterating everything near it. Mercury retrograde is getting pretty close to joining the center of the sun, which is essentially the story of like some mental or thought, some idea kind of going towards that sun. Like it's a conjunction when it's retrograde. So the Mercury is not appearing to go in the same directions. From our perspective, it looks like it's going backwards. So the story is like, oh, you're delivering a message, but you need to go back. You forgot something. You need to clarify something. So since that's happening, and it's pretty dang close to the center of the sun, so the message is about to be sent. It's about to be received. Now, in my mind right now, there's this sense of like, how ridiculous is this, that I'm even fucking doing this? That I'm even like trying to tell a story about this. Nobody fucking cares. Nobody's fucking listening. Like, why am I doing this? Well, I guess because I like looking at people's birth charts, and I like having conversations, and some people are curious about it. So there's a little bit of that, but anyways, this sun in Capricorn is bowing down to Saturn. Why? Because Saturn is, in the traditional system, is said to rule Capricorn, which is like the heart of the winter time. Is Aquarius, but it's getting into wintertime. Saturn rules Capricorn and Aquarius. So, where is Saturn? Saturn rules Capricorn, and it is in Aquarius, where it also rules. So, the god of death, limitation and restriction and boundaries and structures, all of that, like the bones in a person, it's like the kind of parts that linger, the most durable part of a thing, of a system, in a way. The boundaries. It's in a way of getting to do its thing right now. So that's good. So the sun in Capricorn is listening to this strong boundary enforcer. And yeah, that energy is about the long term. It's about what's going to work over time. And yeah, the sun is obliterating Mercury, I think, pretty intensely. So you can't see it. You're not able to see. So again, I would say meditation to make sure that you're noticing your thoughts, you're experiencing them as data, as opposed to like identifying with the fact that you are that thought. That's a little dangerous. If you have an idea, you are not the idea necessarily. Like, of course, you are to an extent, because the idea is arising inside of you and it's part of your experience and it is meant to be experienced, and it can also bring good feedback, but it doesn't necessarily good. It can also be confused. It could be a lie. It could be a deception. And since Mercury is retrograde and we're trying to understand and think about messages clearly, just sort of review your thoughts is what's coming up for me right now. Saturn is at home in Aquarius, as I mentioned, so there's really no further planets that we need to like look to for the sun's placement. That sun is, of course, being opposed by the moon on the opposite side, and the moon happens to also be in home base. So the moon is in Cancer, which means that the part of us that's the closest. So the moon is the closest thing to the earth. It's the most home, I think. It's the closest to our experience. So what does that mean for a person? Well, it means your body. It means your emotions. It's the thing that you're constantly with. That's also visible and invisible, because the moon, sometimes you can't see it. Right now, the moon is very bright. So this is a very visible time, like your body and your emotions are big. That's, the legend of werewolves and like emotions, like, ooh, it's a full moon, like everyone's a little nuts. Honestly, I don't think that this is a nuts kind of full moon, because the moon in Cancer is very agreeable and very sensitive and nurturing. Now, that a crab is not necessarily nice. Like, just because the moon is in rulership there doesn't mean that that person is good. It just means that they're comfortable in with their honoring their emotional guidance system. It's like, I'm angry, I'm fucking angry. I'm sad, I'm fucking sad. Like, there's a boldness to the emotionalness happening here. And that is obviously that emotionality, that moon in Cancer is sort of, strong as that light can be. And on the other side of the heavens, the light that's making it bright, the existence itself, the force of the universe that's just like, here we go. It's in a more, like, I want to achieve things. I can see that there's an emotion that is very strong, and then there's this, like, drive to exist that's very strong, and they are at exact odds with each other. There is a balancing act. A bridge must be made between the two of these things. So strong emotion, strong desire to achieve, to be, and the sun is sort of symbolic of father energy, and the moon more nurturing energy. And honestly, Capricorn is a very like archetypal father energy, and the sun is archetypal father, and the moon is archetypal mother. Like, it's a pretty interesting dynamic. It would be like inside of us we have this strong protector father energy and this strong nurturing mother energy. And I'm not saying that you necessarily have to get the nurturing energy from a girl or a boy or from your mom or from your dad. This is symbolism. Again, it's a fucking story. So balancing between those two forces in a way that's on one side very focused on limitations, boundaries, and achieving things in a practical way, and the other on emotion and like being safe and keeping your body in a good way. So there's this real big polarity there to explore. And the emotions are sort of in a self-contained, like safe space in this chart. Lilith is still in Cancer, so there's like this slight wrath and injustice, but it's far enough away that I don't think it's like really the thing that's it's tangential to the actual emotion. So there's like an injustice happening, and there's this like feeling of it, but it's not quite related to that, I would say, based off of this chart. It's more something like deep in the center of like being nurtured and supported, because it's right in the middle of Cancer. It's at 16. It's like you couldn't get any more in the middle of it. And that's another cardinal sign. It's like the starting of summertime, and the moon is in the starting of summertime constellation. So it's like it's a fertile time. It's a time where things get the nutrients it needs so that they can really blossom in Leo's season. So it's a really interesting thing. So the moon is self-contained because it rules Cancer, it's home. The sun is bowing to Saturn. Saturn is home. So there's really not a lot of the other things like that are being pulled in. So for instance, the sun is pulling in the constellation Leo. It's an empty constellation. Right now, according to this chart, there's thousands of probably like little asteroids and all kinds of things in it. But for the purposes of telling a story, how many characters can a person keep track of? My God. Like, anyways. So that Leo constellation, it's pulling that in. So creativity, mastery is always going to be associated with the sun. Like the sun's got a job to do. It's on, it's bright, it's sharing its warmth. That can be constructive or not. The Mercury is pulling in Virgo, which is empty, and it's pulling in Gemini, which has Mars. So there's definitely that retrograde Mercury pulling in a retrograde Mars. So that means like retreat, like, is how I'm telling the story. So the mind needs to retreat for a moment and iron things out, and your actions need to retreat. So as I think about how that applies to this very moment, this very chart, it's like, should I have fucking figured out how to display this better before I went live? Because I want to give you guys a good experience, but then nobody's fucking watching this. This is actually just me. Well, that's not true. There are probably people watching this, and I don't want to disrespect your time. And I do like working with people, but it's, I don't know. There's a whole part of me that's like, why am I fucking doing this? Like, it doesn't fucking matter. Nobody fucking cares. Like, I reach out to people all the fucking time on social media. Like, I try to ask for what I want. Like, I want to play Survivor. Like, I want to find a husband. Like, I want to be supported. I think that I'm really practical. I'd make a great housewife. I'm very creative. But then at the same time, I'm like, am I idle? Like, I have been idle over winter break because I haven't been picking up shifts from substitute teaching, and I also don't take too many because I don't have the energy to give, and I want to go to meet people, but then when I went to the last one, I didn't even fucking say anything to anyone because for some reason I just didn't come out there. And then yet any moment that I'm tested, any moment at all, whenever there's like anything outside of me and I feel that like leading, like need to speak, then I will. But I'm just yeah. Well, that's Mars and Gemini for you. Can you see the heat coming to my face? There's anger, there's rage. So it's going backwards, it's retreating, and so is Mercury to a degree. Ugh. And Mercury's being obstructed by the sun. I don't think Mercury in Capricorn is in a bad way, generally speaking, but it's so close to the sun that it's just like almost... Oh, yeah, I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like this signification. very much, because Mercury is in Capricorn, being obstructed by the Sun. It's retrograde, pulling in that Mars in Gemini, and it can't. It's in conjunct because you have cardinal Earth. If you look here, um, Earth Earth Capricorn is directly opposite water. So even though they're very different, they can see each other, and at least they have to integrate with each other. Whereas when it's in the air sign, air, Gemini, air energy, and Earth Capricorn energy, they're like very different. So Earth, how to integrate these? Well, the practical, the mundane of the Earth part of life with the curious, explorative, mental curiosity kind of energy. Woo! Like, just fucking do it. It's not like what wants to be done. Like, for me personally, it's like, I don't want to have to force myself into learning things. Like, I want to feel inspired to learn things. I don't, like, I want to scream and cry and burst and I can if I need to, but there's this just icky, horrible, I don't know how to say it better. But that's the energy that's coming up, and yeah, I fucking hate it. Now, Pluto is another planet. I think I want to wait on that one. So let's just make sure we've done all the personal planets. We've done the Sun, we've done the Moon, we've done Mercury and Mars. So we need to do Venus and Jupiter before we worry about the super distant planets. So also kind of under the domain of the sun kind of saturnal energy right now is Venus. Venus is in Aquarius. Now, what is Venus like in Aquarius? Chelsea Handler, I think, has Venus. No, she has Venus in Aries. Sorry. Who has Venus in Aquarius? A lot of guys I've been on dates with recently and had sex with have Venus in Aquarius, but it's like she has Venus in Aries, which is Chelsea Handler's a little bit, which is fine. It's I'm not judging. It's just not the easiest one to deal with. You can kind of hear her kind of like. It's about her, like she is in love with herself, and what she thinks and what she wants. Whereas Venus in Aquarius is like a little different. They're in love with their ideas and their boundaries and their principles, is sort of how I would describe it. Like a Venus in Aquarius person is almost slightly detached and like a bird's eye view. Like it's associated with having like your lover being your best friend, kind of an energy in some ways, I think. Yeah, Aquarius energy. But again, it's good. It's not like it's bad. Venus is not, I would say, unhappy at all in Aquarius. It's more of a neutral thing. So, yeah, this lover energy bowing to the practical limits and boundaries, like I like that. So there's a little bit of relief there. There's a little bit of like the message that's wanting to come through is think about one boundary that you like, one limitation that you like that helped you. So I'm thinking about the film The Five Obstructions, which means that creativity is actually enhanced by boundaries. So little kids may have like 5 different toys, and then they can use those 5 toys to like imagine this whole story. Whereas if they had tons and tons and tons and tons of options, they may not even know where to begin. Usually that doesn't affect little children. It's more adults that are like, I don't know what to do. Where kids are like, this is gonna be the princess, and they're married, and then they're gonna do this. You know, it's like, but sometimes less is more, I guess. Sometimes that's happening. So Venus is in Aquarius bowing to Saturn. Mercury is bowing to Saturn. The Sun is bowing to Saturn. The Sun is obstructing Mercury. The Moon is alone in Cancer. Mars is being pulled in, though not efficiently, I would say, at all, by the ruler right now, and that's just unfortunate. I'm not loving, like, what's coming up for me now is I'm, like, where will I be on the 6th in 2 days? I'm not going to be traveling just yet, but I'm about to be going on a trip in the middle of Mercury retrograde, and I'm kind of like, like, I'm just thinking shit does go wrong. But I've done my best. I waited till after the holidays to arrange this trip to go see family. I've flown many times, and also nothing is it. There's literally no agenda at all. Like there's nothing at all. Like as long as the plane is flown safely there, and I get there eventually, like it's fine. It might be inconvenient to my sister who might be picking me up, etc. Like shit can go down, but I know that my life needs to continue living, and I got $100 flight to Oklahoma on Spirit Airlines. So yeah, I've got to pack. I need to be organized. I need to leave for the airport at the right time. I need to double check just because forward momentum and the struggle might be challenging. I can prepare. I can leave early. I can do what I need to do to adapt to that kind of experience. So Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Saturn, I guess Jupiter. Jupiter's now in Aries. Jupiter has left Pisces. Honestly, what's coming up for me is sort of like anger. And this is another reason why I don't think... Well, it depends. I'm trying to be fair to this system. So Jupiter was recently in Pisces, which is its home base. Jupiter in Pisces is very expansive. It's, in my mind, it's someone who really has a very global, wide reach. I'm thinking of people that have Jupiter in good condition, like, again, Chelsea Handler just keeps coming up. She has Jupiter in Pisces as well as the Sun in Pisces. But that Jupiter in Pisces is a guru, it's a teacher, it's a sharer, and it's in the sort of swimming fishy of Pisces. It's been like that for a while. And I was hopeful that that would mean great abundance for my partnerships, a great expansiveness to how I'm working. And when I was like, there's a part of me that's like, I'm disappointed because I didn't get like my fairy tale like husband, which is what I wanted to happen during the transit, because I was like, fuck, like this is the house of my partnerships and my marriage contracts and like big time commitments. And then I thought, wait a minute. You have a completely new job. Like before that time period, you were a server, and now you're a substitute teacher, and you're making twice as much money, and you're barely working hour-wise comparatively. And it's not tedious, like it's interesting, and you're encouraged by the children, and you're really getting to just immerse yourself into the waters of the world. And I've looked at it, and I've worked at like, I don't know how many different schools, and like I've got to see a little bit more LA. There is this expansion in the types of partnerships that I've had. It really did happen. It just didn't happen maybe in the way that I wanted. And part of the reason why I think that can be told is because Jupiter was near Neptune, and Neptune is this deeply dissolving current. So it's like well below the surface. It's like, wow. When I make it about myself, just one monkey creature on the earth, I want to be able to speak to everyone. I want everyone to listen. But then I really think about it, like, do I need to speak? Do I need to share my impulses? Is that really relevant? Can't I just swim with the rest of the school of fish? Can't someone just fucking come up to me and be like, hey, Jupiter in Aries is a different signature. Jupiter in Aries is like Luke Skywalker, like, you're going, you're it, you're the hero, do it now, like, it's time. Chiron is not quite connected, but when I think of the teacher, the guru, the light bringer, the Santa Claus, the expansive, benefic planet of Jupiter in Aries, and then I think about this Chiron, this wounded healer teacher, there's so much teacher energy happening here. I am like teacher, 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 teacher. I'm a literal substitute teacher, I'm a yoga teacher. For me, it's in the 8th house, depending on which system you look at. Either the 7th, 8th kind of cusp, that kind of range. Oh man. It's also sort of like occult things for me. So again, for you, I don't know where the Aries story is leading, but in general, the archetype of Aries as like a whole is about initiating spring. There's so much initiating going on. It's kind of like an initiating focal point, like starting some shit, because of the sun and the moon there, and Jupiter there, Mercury's there. There's still some fixed stuff in Aquarius, of course, but yeah, anyways, that's kind of neither here nor there. I'm not sure how helpful that kind of ramble was going to be for anyone who doesn't know anything about astrology. What else do I want to say about this? It's an initiating time. It's a go for it time. Make mistakes, learn from the mistakes. Don't hold on to the grudges from the mistakes. I could just spew words endlessly. They all feel kind of stupid. I don't know. I'm not trying to be negative, but there's like this sadness and this like, ugh. There's like a futility to life that I'm running up against, and there's this like expectation to like feel like this happiness, and that somehow I'm doing something wrong if I'm not happy, which is really sadistic. And I don't know. I've watched a lot of Netflix, and I've listened to a lot of audiobooks, and I've read a lot of books, and I'm trying to make music and trying to be there for the people that are interested in the real me, and I don't even particularly love the real me all the time. Like, this dude on a dating app asked me if I was kind, and I'm like, well, sometimes. What do you mean? I'm like, yes, I'm kind sometimes. Some people think I'm kind, some people think I'm not kind, but I'm trying to be honest and not destructive, and I don't want to talk shit about people, and like, even in, I don't know, I try to be with, like, maybe a bit confrontational at times, maybe a bit of like a bring it on kind of an energy. That might not be the kindest, but also sometimes it feels relevant. I mean, I don't know, y'all. I'm trying to bring it. I'm trying to bring the, I don't know, I could growl. I could growl. That Aries, that is where Jupiter is stationed. Well, station means it's stopping. That's the wrong terminology. I don't want to confuse anyone who actually knows about. Stationing is when the planet is about to go retrograde, so it looks from our perspective like it was going this way, and then slowing down, because then it's going to go back from our perspective. So stationing is the point where it's slow. That's not what's happening with Jupiter, to my knowledge. In fact, I'm confident it's not, because Jupiter's not going back into Pisces. It already went into Aries a little bit, went back into Pisces, and now it's going. So it's certainly not about to station. I'm very confident. So that Jupiter, that is an optimistic planet, though, it is now bowing to Mars in Gemini. Is Mars in Gemini bad? No. It is definitely not bad. But because it's going retrograde, it's a little more negative, I would say. And because Mercury is its ruler and it's being obstructed by the sun, and it is also retrograde, I think it's like even more negative. So it's kind of a more neutral placement, perhaps, and Mercury's in a neutral placement, so it's not like the worst of the worst, but it's not good. It's not good. And I would say, if I'm being honest and I'm trying to like correlate that to my chart, it's like I would say that I'm not happy, and my life is not very joyous. And I'm trying to be very smart and be very careful and very practical, and I'm trying to like enjoy life, and there's this pressure to be happy, and I've just kind of gotten over it. I'm just like, I'm not happy. I'm not happy with the things are. I'm not happy. I don't like how things are. I want things to be different. I want to be treated differently. I want the men who say things like, I hope one day I'll be ready for you. I hope that they stop fucking saying that shit. It's like, then fucking, if you hope that, then fucking man up. Like, I'm so tired of stupid idiots. I'm so tired of it. Like, I see my value. I see my worth. I literally am radiant. I'm sexually charged. I'm kind. I'm smart. I'm practical. I'm sensible. Like, I'm the perfect partner. Fucking scoop me up, you stupid fucking dicks. I'm not even lazy. I just want people to like me. But I'm angry about it. And that anger is not, like, alluring. Like, it's not... It's not alluring, but there's so much fragility. There's so many people who are unwilling to face reality. Like, I can't abandon reason for the sake of some dude. Like, I guess I have to be alone until there's a man that's actually a man. Or even, like, I mean, I have female friends who can put up with me, but a part of me is like, why am I trying to push people away? Am I trying? I don't think I am, actually. I am a curious, questioning soul, and I am angry, and I'm tired. And this is a purge. This has been 35 minutes, and this is my practice, and this is what I'm doing with astrology, and I think it's much more efficient than people trying to get money out of people who are scared of the future, because I don't know, but I'm going to show up, and I am capable of telling stories, and I do care about you, and me, and I'm trying, and I'm frustrated, and I'm not angry that I'm angry, I'm not sad that I'm sad. They are what they are. The feelings are the feelings. Exercise could benefit me. Drums, rhythms, dancing. I might do that next. I could get stoned. That's one of the legal things I can do here. Make sure you're not doing anything that's wrong for you. I don't know. I feel tension. I feel I'm worried that I'm gonna get fat and ugly and then no one's gonna like me, which is sad because there are plenty of fat people who have lovely partners and lovely lives, and some people are ugly to me. Like, I don't find them attractive. I literally think that they're unattractive. Like, some behaviors make people unattractive. It's not just physical things. Like, this is a real part of the experience, and like, I don't care anymore to like hide that's a real part. Like, there are ugly parts. Like, it's to me when a beautiful cat fucking kills a mouse. It does not seem beautiful to me. It seems like an ugly part. When those same mice, if left unchecked, would end up like overpowering and just breeding and causing diseases and all that shit, that's also ugly. And it's ugly. I hate this place. I fucking hate it. I am disgusted by it. And then at the same time, I shouldn't feel hate. I shouldn't feel anger. Okay, well, so that's a lot. That's a purge. That's a deep ghost. People could easily spin that like I'm this some sort of like hater person for like having opinions, and I don't know. This goes back to someone who said I was fat shaming people. I'm like, I'm not fat shaming people. How am I shaming people for being fat? Like, I don't like fatness. I'm not attracted to it. I'm unattracted to fatness. Don't force me to be attracted to something that I'm not fucking attracted to. It's in the same way that I'm not attracted to someone who smells very badly. Like, have I had sex with people who are fat? Yes. People are fat. It's a fucking fact. In the same way that people generate sperm cells or egg cells. Like, there's fucking shit that is real. It's real. There are consequences to being what size you are. You can be too fucking thin. You can literally be so thin that it's bad for you. And it can be unsightly to me. I don't like the way it looks. That doesn't mean that people can always control it. I guess that's just not always the case. There's conditions. There's trauma. I will not be afraid to use language to describe things. I don't want to hurt people senselessly. I don't want to. But like, I don't think doctors are wanting to hurt you by saying that you need to lose weight. Like, I don't think that that's a real thing. I'm not willing to deny reality as I see it, as I experience it. If you're not attractive to me, you're not attractive to me. Period. I will not make it up. There's nothing wrong with me for feeling the way that I feel about that. There's nothing the fuck wrong with me. I do not have to be sexually aroused by every fucker. I do not have to shy away from the fact that obesity is a problem. I don't have to. I can use those words. and I could be judged and ridiculed and shamed, and people could judge me, but yeah. And also I could become fat and ugly. And I do think that fatness and ugliness as a sentence you could start associate someone who's fat to being ugly. There are people who are beautiful and fat. It's a real thing. It's a real thing. There are people who are, I guess, skinny and very ugly. That words to describe them. Yeah. Who is someone who is ugly and skinny? But are they also beautiful? Can you see the other side of it? Can you see how this Mars, Gemini, Mercury, Capricorn obstructed, just fucking putting it out there, like, just projecting it. Like, how can I communicate differently about my rage? How can people communicate differently to me? So there's this one guy, this is the story that's coming up. He was fat, like, by my standards. Fat to me. And I'm not into fat men. Sorry. Get over your fucking self. I will not pretend that I'm attracted to someone that I'm not fucking attracted to. I like men who are fit and strong. I like it. I like it more. It's prettier. Is it because I'm conditioned by the media? Maybe the fuck it is. But I don't fucking care because it's fucking true. I like men who smell good. I like men who are reasonable and smart. I want to be massaged and protected and nurtured by strong, capable men. It's a thing. I like it. So that's a real thing, and I'm talking about it, and it may not be polite. Okay. Why am I sharing it? Did anyone fucking ask? Well, this guy told me that I was being judgmental and just from a video that I knew I wasn't into. I'm like, well, yeah, I have judged you not attractive. Bye. Like, or we could be friends. I'm not gonna have sex with someone I'm not fucking attracted to. Like, who do I owe? Sexually, who do I owe? Nobody. Nobody do I fucking owe anything sexually. No. And all these fuckers, all these average-looking men with average bodies, they are not respecting me the way that I want to be respected. They're calling me arrogant. Fine. Call me whatever the fuck you want. I get to have sex with people that I'm attracted to. I like having sex with people I'm attracted to. Healthy, athletic men. Those are the men that I want to have sex with. Do I have sex with men who are not super fit? Yes, I do have sex with them too. That's a thing that happens. Sometimes. Sometimes I do. They have to smell really nice and they have to be really charming. And they have to have good personalities to make up for it. Because it's not as arousing. It's not as arousing when you see a guy, like there's this one guy who smells amazing. He's married and has a family. And they have a open but don't ask, don't tell kind of a policy, which I don't understand. But, you know, this man has children and a family with his partner, and they're not really feeling it sexually. And I am. Like, he smells good, he feels good, he's attractive, and I enjoy our sexual chemistry. We use protection. Like, it's pleasant. He's sort of like, once he's had his orgasm, it's like, he's not as generous as other people, but like he does something. He excites me in some way. That's like kind of like the dom. Like he I don't know. And it's an exciting way to spend a few minutes, and afterwards I feel good. Like and then there are other people that are a lot more like sensitive and wanting to please, and sometimes that's really pleasant. I think I'm versatile because I can kind of do both. I'm not a match to everyone. I'm not attracted to everyone, and there are trends. Athletic, smelly good, handsome men are the ones that I like. That's just how it is. I'm sorry. It is. I'm not sorry. I'm sorry, not sorry. What does that even mean? What am I even saying? 44 minutes and 44 seconds. I think I feel better. And I don't know where that came from. Really, like, specifically. I just fucking hate people sometimes and how stupid they are. Like, I fucking hate how stupid people are. Am I the one? Let's do this. Let's go here. We're gonna go to thework.com. And let's do the work. Let's do the work. Let's do the work. Do. Let's do the worksheet. The worksheet. Not for kids. I'm interested in it for kids, but let's try English. I really like this. So in this situation, who angers, confuses, hurts, saddens, and disappoints you, and why? I am angry with men. No, that's too vague. I am angry with men, suitors. I am angry with suitors because they don't like my true preferences. I am angry with suitors because they don't like my true preferences. So now I have to turn it, ask myself 4 questions about them. Is it so? The question is, I am angry with suitors because they don't like my true preferences. Is this true? Yes, I think that there was definitely anger. In this moment, I'm not as angry with them because the anger is maybe emitted. But yes, it's true. I'm angry with suitors because they don't like my true preferences. I'm angry. Can I absolutely know that it's true? Anger was emitted. I felt it. It's demonstrable. I think there's evidence that the anger happened. How do you react? What happens when you believe the thought that they don't like my true preferences? I'm angry because they don't like my preferences. I'm angry with suitors because they don't like What happens? I get angry, I get frustrated. I feel like I'm tired of, like I'm lonely, and I get it, they are too, and I don't want to be insensitive, but like, I'm so tired of being like, hey, I'm not a match, and then they're just like, fuck you. And I'm just like, there's so much pain, and I'm so frustrated. Can I find sympathy with them? Like, it's like, I see it. I sometimes wish I could lower my standards, but there are guys that you're trying to make out with them, and they taste gross. They smell gross. I tell them, you're gross to me. Like, I don't like how you smell. I don't like your breath. I don't want to make out with you. I'm not enjoying it. I say these things to them because it's fucking true. Because it's fucking true. It's my truth. It's my experience. I am allowed to have preferences and feedback. I'm allowed. I watched Chelsea Handler just literally just being a bitch. And she has a career out of being a fucking cunt. I don't want to be a cunt. I'm not trying to be a cunt. I truly am not. I do not get joy out of it. I'm just allowed to have fucking preferences. Okay, I think I felt a little better. So I really got lost in that. Now I'm supposed to turn the thought around. I am angry with suitors because they don't like. I am not angry with suitors because they don't like my true preference. Okay, so we're turning it around the opposite. I am not angry with suitors because they don't. Because hurt people hurt others. Let's play more word games with myself. Let's sit with this even more. I am not angry. Find 3 reasons why I'm not angry. Am I gaslighting myself right now? I'm not angry with suitors. Well, in a way, I'm angry with myself. I'm angry with myself because I'm letting it get to me. I'm actually angry at me. I'm not angry at them. I'm angry that I care. I'm angry that I want more from myself. I'm angry that I'm never satisfied. It's not them, it's me. It's me. I'm angry that I'm not attracted to smelly, like, unattractive people, particularly because they don't take fucking good care of themselves, hygiene-wise or physically-wise. Like, but I'm not gonna pretend. This is a tricky one. This is a tricky one. All inspired by the practice of storytelling and purging, and yeah, this I could see how, like, this video could be edited in such a way, splices of it, where I could be really attacked. In my birth chart, Mars is at the top, so the warrior in Gemini. So there's this kind of like fighter, communicator, seeing two sides. But I don't know. I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm not trying to be a dick, y'all. I'm just spilling out into the universe my frustrations, my anger. Jupiter in Aries ruled over by Mars in Gemini. Maybe there'll be some sort of clarifying thing that'll happen. Maybe I'll get a message soon. Maybe this full moon I've got that strong emotional feeling and the practical constraints. Can I see myself spilling out like this chart? Can I find how it's me, how it applies to me? I honestly just sort of want to do nothing. So that's what I'm going to do. For a time, until some other passion overtakes me, or some sort of like... I'm just not good. I'm not happy. I'm not okay. And I am okay. And I'm not okay. And I am okay. Yeah. What the fuck is the universe? With that said, light, love, and the snake's bite. I had to change the order. I'm still processing that. So, yeah. Light, love, and the snake's bite. Why? Because I'm writing a fantasy series. Maybe. I haven't written it yet. I've outlined it. Anywho, whatever. I don't want you to have a fucking terrible life. I want you to have a good life. I want us to enjoy ourselves. What else are we gonna fucking do? I'm just pissed. Bye.